Okay, Oscar fans, coming to you now, break down a little bit and talk a little bit about that utter beatdown Nebraska just got versus 16th ranked Indiana Hoosiers. Um, and look, a lot of people coming into this game, a lot of Husker fans didn't believe that Indiana deserved that ranking. They didn't believe Indiana had played anybody yet. They didn't even think Indiana was a really good football team. And a lot of people thought Nebraska might steamroll them today. Now, I wasn't part of that camp. If you watched my video earlier this week, I gave a lot of foreshadowing of Indiana being a good team and this being a tough game. But hey, even people like me, I don't think thought Indiana was going to beat us down the way they did for 4 quarters. And, if you're like me, very early in the third quarter, you wished we could just forfeit the game. You wish it would just stop. But it continued. We've got to talk about it. Shocking day for Nebraska. In my opinion, a big step back for Matt Rhule's program in rebuild under year two. There's no way about it. The loss is unacceptable. And it's on his shoulders. And we got to talk about it. Go ahead and make sure you drop your comments below. Would love to hear if you guys let your venting session out. Some things you agree with me, whatever you disagree on, just vent. Let your feelings out on the game. This is a place to do that. While you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Okay, so Nebraska had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. It didn't feel like it, and it didn't look like it. But Nebraska had 2 weeks, starting the year 5-1. Had 2 weeks after a bye week last week to prepare for an Indiana team. Indiana had a bye week too, but Nebraska had 2 weeks to prepare for an Indiana team that had a top 10 offense at the time and a top 10 defense at the time nationally. And Nebraska had time to study that, had time to prepare for it, had time to game plan for it. But frankly, if you watch the game today, you can't tell that they did. You would think they had no time to prepare for this game. Zero. Because that's what it looked like. It looks like they didn't prepare for this game at all. And that falls squarely on the shoulders of head coach Matt Rhule, who, for the record, has only ever beaten 2 ranked teams his entire head coaching career. So even through his rebuilds at Temple and Baylor, and now what he's doing at Nebraska, he's only ever beaten top 25 teams twice. So I don't know what it is with him. I don't know what he changes in weeks leading up to games against top 25, or I don't know if maybe just the way he prepares for top 20, or the way he prepares his team in general does not prepare them to do anything more than be mediocre top 30 team, maybe. I don't know. I plan on doing another video on that later on the week, so check in for that. The reality is today we got beat down, and beat down bad. I would argue this is a worse loss than the one we had against Michigan last year, because although that one against Michigan last year, it got out of hand quick. I think it was a similar score. You felt like last year, you felt like, hey, it's year one under Matt Rhule. They had all the pieces that were hurt. They were trying to play Heinrich Harburg. It was just Michigan that went on to win the national championship. It was like, okay. But Indiana, no matter the fact that they are good, I don't think anyone's going to question that they're good now. The game today just was never a game to begin with. I mean, Indiana came out and scored easily on their first drive. Nebraska immediately made mistakes on the special teams with that Ja'Cory Barney Jr. Getting the ball down for us on like the 2 yard line to start the game. And then, then we had a chance to score again to tie the game. And Dowdell fumbled it after converting 4th down. So Nebraska ended up with 5 turnovers on the day. So, a big talking point to this point, this year was that Nebraska really cleaned up the turnover margin. But today we went -4 in the turnover margin. So giant step back for that. Giant step back for the defense. Giant step back for the offense. Raiola has 2 bad games in a row now as a freshman quarterback. He threw 3 picks today. He threw 2 picks the last game against Rutgers. So I don't know what's going on there. This team is, they say teams either improve during the year or they regress during the year. And for whatever reason, this Nebraska team, I would say, is regressing during the year. So they have another bye week coming up, but first we're going to have to go through Ohio State on the road next week, who basically is going to be this Indiana game on steroids. So that should be lots of fun. The running back room. Matt Rhule said before the game, he was talking to a reporter on the sidelines or outside the stadium before the game, and said he doesn't want this game to be a shootout. He wanted this game to be a physical, ugly type game because Nebraska doesn't want to be a shootout type game. They want to make Indiana play Big Ten football. They want to be tough and physical and make it ugly. Well, for all that talk, Nebraska had 74 rushing yards on the day. 74. They had 29 at halftime. They had 74 on the day. Indiana had over 200 rushing yards. So we saw who the more physical team was. We saw the team that was willing to play Big Ten football. Indiana's started quarterback, who absolutely shredded Nebraska, went out early in the third quarter with a hand injury, and the backup came in and didn't miss a beat. Just continued to shred us. So I don't know what's going on with the defense. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this RPO style offense, and they were just giving up giant runs up the middle. They were giving up passing plays. The receivers looked like they're playing soft, or the corners looked like they're playing soft coverage. Marquise Buford, again, just consistently, whenever I see a receiver getting beat big, I happen to look up, and it just so happens to always be his name as the corner that was covering him. So I don't know. It's hard on a TV because I'm not there at the game. It's hard on a TV broadcast to see who's on the field at all times. But if they're not playing Sierra Wright and Tommy Hill on the field at the same time, they need to. I don't know if Tommy Hill played the whole game. I know he was in there to begin with. I don't even know if he made it through the whole game because, again, you can't tell on these TV broadcasts. But something's got to give. I don't know what the inconsistency is with this defense this year, but that was a bad of a showing of Tony White defenses I've seen ever since he's been here. I mean, it was just the worst performance of his by far. And look, the offense couldn't get anything going. You talk about running backs, you talk about the offensive line, no push at all, no protection in the pass game, but really no push in the running game at all. Even, I don't know how much he played, but I saw Mazuka in there on offensive line, and it's not in like a jumbo set either, just a normal set. I see Mazuka in there, and I saw the one play I did see his name on jersey, and there was a play that the running back got blown up in the backfield, and Mazuka, or the guard, missed his block, and the defender ran right through him. And then I see the running back get up, and I see the tackle was Mazuka. So for all the people that really wanted him to play and thought he was going to be a savior for that offensive line, apparently not. But guys, we need to get a. There's a lot this team's going to have to fix. This team's not going to be. This team should be a bowl game team this year. I don't think that's off the table by any stretch of the imagination. This team will be probably a 7-win team, which is what I predicted to start the year if you look back. Still feels like a little bit of a letdown just because of the way we started. I think 7 wins now is going to feel it's going to feel good if we can reach it, because I think 6 right now is looking a little more realistic unless we really figure things out. Now, this offseason, I got a lot to figure out. We need a star running back, in my opinion. Dowdell is not a star running back. Johnson's not a star running back. I'm not saying they can't develop into one, but they're not. And if you want to get for all the talk about a run game and being a physical team and run the ball, run first, which we're not doing play call wise, frankly, but for all the talk that's saying that's what we want to be, aside from maybe looking at a coordinator change, you got to get a running back there. I don't know if it's going to be a transfer. I don't know if there's some, it's going to have to be maybe a transfer, or you recruit someone for the future. But you have a 5-star quarterback. Go out and get either a high 4 or a 5-star running back. And we got to get a dude back there in the backfield. You think about all the good Nebraska teams, what did they have? They had a running back that was a household name, period. Do we have that right now? No. So that needs to be fixed. The offense is just a mess. The defense now apparently is a mess. The true freshman quarterback, Raiola, I don't know if we're ruining him or what. I mean, it's only 2 games out of the 7 now, but 2 games now, the last 2 games, he's looked really bad, really pedestrian. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had some great throws today. He made some good plays. He feathered some great passes, but overall, you can't throw 3 interceptions. Okay? He didn't throw a touchdown today. He didn't convert plays on key downs. And so, again, 2 weeks in a row where the quarterback play has not been good. Guys, I don't know. We have Ohio State coming in next week. Another big noon kickoff. God knows why. That sucks. So we'll see how that goes. Again, Matt Rhule's goal at the beginning of the season wasn't a bowl game or anything like that. Matt Rhule's goal at the beginning of the season was what? He said, I want Nebraska to be relevant. That's my goal for the year, for Nebraska to be relevant. I don't know. He got that up. He got that softball right on the tee. You go 5-1 into a bye week. You get big noon kickoff against 16th ranked Indiana. You have a chance to, even if you keep that a close game, you lose by 3 or 7 points in a close game. Yeah, I would argue that you're moving the sticks towards Nebraska being relevant before another good chance to become relevant next week against Ohio State. If you win that game, certainly you then reach your goal. You become bowl eligible for the first time since 2016. You just beat a ranked team on the road, a big noon kickoff game. But no, Nebraska completely shits the bed. Matt Rhule shit the bed. Nobody prepared for this game during the bye week, and if they did, they really need to relook at that approach because it sucked. This team sucked today. That's the bottom line. This team hasn't sucked all year, just to be clear. So what team will we get next week against Ohio State? Even if we get the good Nebraska team that doesn't play like they did today, it's not going to probably be a victory. But if we can focus on improving for next week and keeping it closer next week, that rolls momentum. I think we get a bye week before then playing UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, and Iowa, or there's at least another bye week in there somewhere in that slate. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. Um, the team sucked today. I'm not saying Nebraska sucks. I'm not saying the team sucks. I'm not saying Matt Rhule sucks. But let's call a spade a spade. Today they did. Let's be frank about that. They've got to get the mojo back. They can't afford to suck the rest of the year, and they can't afford to suck down the stretch. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Again, hit the like button on the video. Subscribe to the channel, and I have my post-game article up on the CaracleChroniclesWebsite.com. Check it out. Lots of great Husker content there. You also find Adam Carriker's gut reaction there as well. So until next time, guys, go Big Red.